You're not imagining it. That sativa from the dispensary isn't nearly as energizing as it used to be. Here's why. I'm Catherine Goldberg. I run the blog Senior Savvy Cannabis. Thank you for being here. I'm absolutely stunned that we have so many new followers and that my last video made such an impact and struck a chord. Clearly, there are a lot of us legal cannabis consumers that want energizing strains. We go to the dispensary and we go to the sativa section, misleading, we'll break that down, and we expect to get cannabis that, like in the olden days, was energizing and clear-headed and motivating. And although it's labeled sativa and certain terpenes are listed, that's not the effect we're getting. So I asked what was going on, and the response was outrageous. So to everyone who weighed in, on both sides, the people who are also frustrated that we're trying to do this the right way by supporting legal cannabis and we're not getting the medicine we need, and to all the growers who broke down this incredible plant in a way that I could never have imagined, and really explained why we're in this situation and what to do with it. So if you, like me, enjoy energizing cannabis and you are disappointed with what is on the shelves right now in whatever state, this video is for you. So let's break this down first. First of all, the sativa indica dichotomy does not serve us. Originally, when cannabis grew naturally, sativa strains grew in warmer climates like Thailand, South Africa, Mexico, Colombia. And these plants were tall and lanky, unlike the indica strains that grew in colder climates and were fatter and bushier. Okay, so because of these genetic differences, the plant expresses characteristics differently. Besides just height, what a lot of these sativa plants had in common was that the plants would make specific terpenes that would be energizing. The same with indica plants, that those plants would make terpenes that would be more sedating. However, cannabis has been crossbred to death, and it's unrealistic to think that any true sativas really exist anymore. I'm not going to say they do not exist, because there are people who go out and find the seeds and find the clones and find the plants and grow them themselves. But I'm going to say what's on the shelf, take it with a grain of salt. Second part of that is that sativa plants need more time to flower. In an industry that only cares about profit, that is not good, because that means more time and energy. So the big cannabis doesn't want sativas because it's just going to take more time. This plant is so complex, and like, I don't want to get so into the nitty gritty of the science. I'm going to tell you also what to do if you don't want to grow your own. So this is the consensus, that because of the shortcuts and loopholes that big cannabis is making, they can call their products anything they want, but there's no like genetic testing going on the plants, the seeds, to prove any sort of lineage. So that's problematic. Also, you can have the exact same genetics and grow the plants in two different locations and get wildly different results. So there's just so much variability in this one plant. Also, in my first video that set off this whole conversation, we talked about how terpenes play a role in the effects. I know that if I see myrcene or linalool as listed as like one or two of the first terpenes, then it's going to be too sedating for me. I'm going to look for something closer to pinene, limonene, terpenol, things like that. So cool, but terpenes only tell part of the story. Okay, so depending on when the plant is harvested, The trichomes will go from clear to milky to amber. When they get closer to the amber side of things, that's when the THC starts to degrade into CBN, which you may have heard of because it's in all those sleepy products now. So CBN is sedative. So even if you have a genetically sativa plant and you grow it for too long before harvesting it, the effects will still be sedating. So I have so much respect for the growers who have reached out and shown me their setups, because it's like a science and an art in one. And to all the growers who are offering to have me try their sativa strains, like, I'm in heaven. It feels like I've been eating like Domino's pizza for my whole life, and now we're going to Italy for someone to make me a fresh pizza. Has legal weed become like the McDonald's of cannabis? It has. It's not good. There's no accountability. It's not good. So, okay. So you have two options. Maybe you have three. The first option is that it's not that hard to grow weed. I've grown from autoflower seeds and clones multiple times, and to be honest, it's a delight to watch it. I love just hanging out with the plants and watching them and looking at all the colors that develop. And it's really fun. It wasn't the best weed on the planet, but it was fun, and you can grow your own. So if anyone watching has a reputable legacy seed bank, someplace where people can legally buy seeds with those older land-raised genetics, please comment, because I will send people there. That's where I'll go to buy the seeds. And I think that's a good place to start. Not everyone can grow their own weed, right? We're in apartment buildings. There are issues, right? So if your only option is the dispensary, which two things can be true at once. We can be thankful that legal weed has come as far as it has and that we have safe access to it. And we can also say we want better. So although brands can print anything they want on their label, look for craft cannabis, look for small farms, look for family farms. Autumn Brands is one of the brands out here in California, and they have a really energizing sativa that I love. I also appreciate that instead of using pesticides on their plants, they use ladybugs, because pesticides are just neurotoxins, and that's just bad news bears for everyone. So this is where we are right now. So yes, I would like to start growing my own weed. Do I think I'm going to be doing it this second? No. So what I'm going to do next time I go to the dispensary is I'm going to look at the terpenes, and I'm going to make sure that myrcene is not the first terpene, which it has been on some of these strains that I've been told are supposed to be sativas that are not, like what is labeled as Durban poison or what is labeled as Jack Herrera. If myrcene is the first terpene, it's not going to be energizing. The second change that I think I need to make as well is that a lot of people commented and said that by smoking joints, the temperature is too high, and you're actually burning off the terpenes before your body can even use them. And that's a case for vaporizers. Vaporizers don't use combustion, so they just heat up the plant enough to release the cannabinoids and the terpenes so that you get a more holistic effect. If anyone has any recommendations for small handheld vaporizers, I would love to hear that too. I, of course, had a Volcano for many years, and I don't need something that big anymore. But it seems like the best we can do now is share what brands are doing the best and in what state, and we can share what brands aren't cutting it, and we can try to consume in a way that protects the efficacy of the plant in a way that maybe I personally wasn't really being considerate of. So I'm thrilled to hear that, even though, of course, we are in the minority, there are a lot of people who like energizing cannabis. And for all these reasons of why it is not on the shelves of dispensaries, that doesn't mean it's gone. And it might be up to people like us, just the enthusiasts, to start to connect with these legacy growers, to start to learn, to start to get these seeds and clones, and take it into our own hands. Because you, like me, I'm sure, use cannabis to become the best version of yourself. And when you know that what you're buying in the dispensary with all the taxes doesn't serve you, it's time to make a change. So I'm thankful that I'm not alone in this. And I would love to hear what energizing sativas you have found and where you live. And I hope we can create a community of energetic cannabis enthusiasts that share our knowledge to help people live in less pain and more joy, whatever that means to them. So I appreciate you watching. Also, I have a free cannabis tracker PDF if you subscribe to my blog, also for free. You can write down, there's a space to write down like the minor cannabinoids and the terpenes. So you really get a sense of how things are affecting you and how that might change over time. And for all like the seniors sharing their stories about what cannabis used to be in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, thank you, because it was like a look into the past of something that I've only read about, but it was nice to hear from people who were part of it. And I think keeping that respect is going to be what guides us forward. So thank you for watching, and thank you to all the new subscribers, both on YouTube and on the blog. I'm thankful you're here, and this is only the beginning. Thanks.